Hey everyone, what's the crack? Lawrence here with the MagShift mini shifter from Heusinkveld. When they did the larger one, I didn't think they'd do a smaller one again, but they did. I'm going to test it out. Let's do this. So as I say, I was a little bit surprised. They used to do the smaller shifter. I reviewed that in the past. I was a little bit surprised when I saw that they're doing another little one. Now, one of the benefits of the little one, and probably one of the reasons that most people are watching this, is because it is tiny. It takes up very little space. So if you have a good H pattern shifter, you can still have a great sequential shifter as well, a separate one. The combi units, they always have some bit of compromise. Even either the H pattern isn't as good as a standalone H pattern, or the sequential is not as good as a standalone sequential, unless you're paying a lot of money. So this was a surprisingly great shifter, the Heusinkveld MagShift. This is a very good shifter. Really, all I didn't like about this is the handle. This handle looks to be quite different on here. The old one was a little stubby shifter, so it'll be very interesting to see what this one is like. It looks pretty good. I got some accessories with it. We'll go through those in a while. Mounting brackets, angle brackets, table clamp and stuff. But the main thing of interest is this. We can see the AMG Petronas branding on here as well. We've had that on the other MagShift, the larger MagShift shifter as well. Packaging is quite nice. What have we got here? Feel the innovation, combines compact size with heavy duty, set your own shift feel. You can separately control the upshift and the downshift, which is quite nice because the upshift, I like to have a nice solid clunky upshift, but the downshift, I just want to click, 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 and I don't really need the feel, or I don't really care too much about the feel, so I kind of tend to set that a little bit lighter with the other one. So apparently you could do that with this, which is kind of crazy for such a small package. So in the box we get a little, this looks like a little letter. That's interesting. That's a nice touch, nice little envelope. We've got some trademark Heusinkveld stickers. We've got them in all three colors. What else have we got? We've got some information booklet in here. Very nice little booklet, lads. Very, very nice. Shows how to adjust it and everything. That is nice and compact. Very nice. What's this? Enhance your sim racing experience. Thank you for choosing. It's quite nice. That's actually interesting. I reckon why they do this, like, and please correct me if I'm wrong here, Heusinkveld has been absolutely incredible according to my community. I've never had to use support because their products are pretty bulletproof from my experience. But anybody who's ever needed support, a new part, a new piece or whatever, Heusinkveld have just looked after them. Pretty much no questions asked. Obviously they want to reduce costs and try and diagnose it before they start sending stuff across the world. But they're extremely good at just getting it fixed, and I think that this number is probably what you can pass on to the next owner, because one of the remarkable things about them, and one thing that surprises people and has surprised people for the last at least 5 years, is that even if you're buying something second hand, third hand, they still tend to stand over the product, even though I'm not sure they actually need to, especially when it's out of warranty and stuff. Honestly, Heusinkveld customer support has been, I've only ever heard good things. I've never heard a bad thing, and they don't even need to. I've never seen like being publicly resolved or drama on Reddit or whatever. It just gets solved. It's crazy. They really are, in my opinion, the benchmark for customer service. Just from what I hear, I haven't used the customer service myself. So there's a little test report here as well, an individualized test report which shows this. Is this customized? It's a sticker that's on here. It must be. This is an exact report. That is high quality stuff, guys. That is like, it's so specialized and so, like, you really feel like you've bought something special and unique here. Like, I just think that's pretty amazing. Nice minimalist packaging as well. No loads of foam and all that kind of stuff. Little bracket here so we can tilt it. We'll have a look at that in a minute. There is an accessory box, but look at the size of that. That is tiny, and I have little girl hands, but these are, this is incredible. That's smaller. This part is smaller than the original, and that is a, yeah, that handle feels a lot better. This knob feels very, very good. Yeah. And I'm guessing that it has too much resistance for me to do this on the bench. I'll do this on the rig in a while. We've got a little USB port on the back here, and we've got our adjustments here for the up and down shift resistance. So, and it's a fairly typical Heusinkveld sandwiched plates here. So we've got just sheet metal, or yeah, just sheets of metal basically that are bolted together. Very simple. That's part of the reason that they are quite successful, is that they don't tend to over-engineer the execution of the products. The products are very well engineered, but they keep a lot of things very simple, just to avoid any issues over time. This is not. I wonder if that knob is. That doesn't feel like a plastic knob. So I think that is an aluminium knob. It's quite cold to the touch as well. So that's interesting. They could have saved some weight with a plastic one, but I guess for the quality and everything, they wanted to go the extra mile. Of course, one detail that you might not have seen yet, the Heusinkveld logo in the top. I like that. I really like that. I think that is a classy touch, and you can of course change out these knobs. So if you wanted to 3D print something, you technically could, and you could just attach it on there. The accessory box, we've got a little Torx tool. We've got a USB A to B cable, and we've got some tooling in here, some T-slot nuts, some mounting accessories, and we've got another, so the two that we get here, the two Torx that we get, which are always handy to have. I'm kind of not as big a fan of Torx as I am of just regular hex or Allen key. I do tend to see it with sim racing, a lot of people use Torx. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe there's an engineering reason for it. Maybe they just don't get rounded the way that you could quite easily round a hex bolt. But generally, when the hardware is of a high enough quality, when the bolts and stuff are good quality, they're almost impossible to round, especially with the right tools. I can't get over the size of it, to be honest. Let's put it next to the MagShift. Like, that is incredible, the difference. Like that MagShift is like up over on the secondary camera, it's up over the top of the camera, and this is just a little tiny. So the idea is, when you have a standalone H pattern and you just want a good sequential on the side, like, that's such a, there's a lot of weight in that. For mounting, you've got this little bracket. So this little bracket allows you a little bit of side to side, because you see these are slightly curved, and you've got some angle adjustment as well. So we're looking at these bolts most likely, and I'm not exactly sure why somebody would want to angle one of these. I don't know. Maybe somebody in the chat, or somebody in the comments can say. I personally like it horizontal, but I guess it's nice to have the option as well. So that's that little mounting bracket. I would personally just put that straight onto the aluminium profile at the side of my rig, but we do have some other little mounting bits and pieces here. So we've got some angled mounts. So these are interesting. These are like a bent pressed plate. There's a vertical mount. This one a little bit more straightforward because while this is a horizontal mount, the vertical mount would allow you to basically mount it onto a profile that's vertical. So here we go. We've got, it's only one piece, which is interesting, but it's extra thick. So let's pull this out. So you can see it's a super thick piece, and I'm guessing it'll only mount on one side, only get the one piece with it. So, and this will mount onto your profile then, which is an interesting solution. And it is, a lot of people have that vertical upright exposed, so this is a good option for them, and they don't necessarily have a horizontal exposed. We also have a table clamp. We've got a little rubber pad in there. We've got the little adjuster, and we've got two of these kind of brackets. I'll show a picture of what the table clamp looks like just on the overlay here, but that's very cool that they do that as well. It's great that they're thinking of that. I'm not sure if anybody who's still using a table would use a shifter that's of this quality and relative price. I think that, you know, honestly, that money would be better spent towards a more solid rig. So yeah, that I would kind of, I wouldn't imagine you'd use this as a table mounted item, but obviously if Heusinkveld are going to the effort of doing it, then they, yeah, there must be a reason for it. So I forgot to show you the little booklets for the various mounts. So they're, again, a similar style to what we had, and we can see exactly how you would mount those. So this is for the angled mount. I think I get it now. So if for the angled mount, it's amazing how little diagram in instructions can make it clearer. So the angled mount, you only want to use one of them, like the horizontal mount. The reason they've gotten two is because they give two is because you might want to angle it one way or the other. So you imagine in a little small Formula cockpit, you might want to angle this ever so slightly just to fit inside the monocoque. So it's angled ever so slightly, and you can still get at it. You remember the old one had like a little angled handle so that the knob was kind of over to the side. Same idea, except now they've just solved it with a really nice heavy duty bracket. And finally, there is an angled USB cable here. Just to hide that cable out of the way, you can put that into the back here, and it just goes straight down rather than straight back. So little details like that make a nice difference. So enough talking, let's get this on the rig and let's put it through the paces. I'm very curious to see how heavy and how light this thing can go, and also how it sits on my rig with the H pattern shifter. So here we are in the rig. It was quite easy to mount. One thing that I didn't think of was that the holes, the mounting holes here, are actually offset. That's why this bracket is offset. Yeah, so I had this the wrong way around first, and it wouldn't have been level. This feels really good. I mean, I think it feels better than the old shifter. Now, it's a long time since I used the old small shifter that they had. This knob feels excellent. Like, how was it when they asked me, do you want to try, we've got this new product coming out, do you want to try it? I'm like, so I'm openly, I didn't like the handle on the handbrake or on the MagShift shifter. Just don't like that handle. This handle, this is the business. Like that feels good. It almost, even this little recess here at the side, my hand fits into that. So whatever way I want to shift there, this is great. Now you might see that I've got a fairly basic shifter on here, got a handbrake, and it gets crowded really, really quickly when you're in this kind of configuration. But I would still be able to just do full on H pattern here and ignore that because it's not in the way. But if I want to do some like sequential, I've got a really, I mean, I haven't even used it yet, but just pulling it here, this is its default configuration. That's nice. It's not too loud. Again, it's what they did with the MagShift as well. With the big one. It's not crazy loud, but it feels good. You wouldn't actually think that there are magnets inside there making that. I mean, it makes sense to an extent, but you wouldn't think it. So obviously I can make it loud by letting it kind of come back like that. But if I just pull it normally, that's a great feel. I can, again, I say this with every sequential shifter, couple that with a butt kicker or something, and you're on to a winner. Look at how tiny this thing is. Now, when I was mounting it, I had to use this cable, the one that's slightly longer, slightly straighter, because the other one wouldn't actually fit in here like this. So I actually probably need one that's angled out to the side, maybe, but it is what it is. I could mount this the other way, but then I have a problem with my other brackets. It's kind of more of a me problem, but it's nice that I have both cables here. And I mean, even if you don't have both cables, these cables are very, very easy to get. You probably have them lying around. Anyway, let's take it for a drive and see, just explore what it's like, how it registers, all that kind of stuff. We'll hop into the software first, actually, then we'll take it for a drive. So again, it always confuses me just a little bit that they've got a smart control software and a smart control live software, and I just never know, and it doesn't matter how often I do this, I never know the difference between them. Smart control live looks like it's just for swapping profiles and stuff. Maybe not, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, we can see the button being pressed here. Oh, that's very cool. Oh man, you've got secondary out. Oh, I love it. I love it. They did this with the MagShift as well. This is genius, right? You don't necessarily have to use this as a shifter, I guess, but you can, if you wanted to, you can make it so that it reacts differently whether it's on the pull, so the engagement, or the release. It can pulse if you don't want to. Rather than going one gear, you could just hold it to go multiple gears if you wanted to. So like, let's say the lever push, if you wanted to go all the way down to, let's say, neutral, you could, or let's say reverse or whatever, you could press and hold and make it pulse in that case, where if you're holding it, it pulses and it just goes all the way down, so that you don't have to go like that, which some people might want, but you have the option here. I'm not going to mess with any of that right now because I guess I'm not used to it. I've never had a need to do it, so, but it's cool that you have those options here. There's nothing, I mean, as for configuration, the second that engages, that light comes on, so I have no worries there. Okay, so in a Mitsubishi Evo somewhere in Greece, let's go. One thing I'm worried about is that maybe I'll go for, because just out of habit, I might go for my normal shifter instead of this, because it's down quite low. It's lower than I would expect it to be. So, but we'll see.
4,
the proof will be in the pudding here.
2, 1, go. And 5 right, very long. Into 6 left of a jump, 80 downhill, 6 right of a dip, into caution, 5 left long, tightens of a crest.
God,
Right
it really is a good shift, guys.
Opens 80.
Oh, there's a rock there.
Turn 3.
That's just poor driving.
Opens 6, very long, into slow, 4 right, extra long, tightens caution, 30, turn
It's actually like, because you don't have a lot of leverage over it, it makes it feel even heavier.
Into 6 left of a crest, tightens, 40 of a crest.
It's down a little bit low, but
tightens long.
you would definitely get used to that.
5 right of a dip long, tightens of a crest. Into 2
Like,
left long.
this is my very first drive of it. As for
40,
resistance,
turn
you guys
unseen,
know
to
I love testing stuff
right.
the way
Keep
it
left
comes
of
from the
80.
factory, because it gives a kind of a good impression of how they want you to use it. This is great.
Keep left of a flat crest.
It's not
6
too
left.
loud either.
Tightens
I would
5,
happily use
40.
this, you know, while the kids are asleep in bed and stuff. If you're in a smaller
Open 6,
apartment,
extra
maybe, you know,
long, tightens of
your
a crest
partner
and
might be
bump.
put out,
Into 6
but
right.
that is
Into 6
part
left.
of the cost
Very long,
of
tightens
having
in
a
of
standalone sequential shifter. They do
Slow.
make a little
Keep
bit of
middle,
noise.
jump into 4
This
left.
one probably has the best
60, turn unseen,
like
2
noise
right,
to
tightens
feel
of a crest.
ratio, if that makes sense. And apparently this is a patented thing by Heusinkveld. They've patented this magnetic technology. That just feels excellent though. Like, that's high end, a very high end feeling. Oh, that's not high end driving.
Opens 6 of a jump.
Trying to think of things to say while
3 right,
ragging a McCann and Evil
left long of a crest. Into turn,
around
6 right of a dip.
rocky roads in Greece.
Into flat crest. 6 right, very long. Tightens
Sounds good on the
5,
limiter though.
60, unseen hairpin right.
It's a lovely.
50. Unseen hairpin left.
Try to send it. Try to be
50.
spectacular. Show off. Yeah, I think I've enough from the driving experience. Let's go to the summary. So yet again, look, it's no secret, guys. I don't like reviewing sequential shifters. The Heusinkveld, the MagShift, the big one that they sent me, surprised me. The buttons are very handy. The shift was good. It's probably about as good as a shifter can get. The handle wasn't for me. They've really addressed the handle. If you get a handle more like this, just more ergonomic like this on that large shifter, that would be excellent. This though ticks so many boxes. It feels similar to the MagShift, and I have messed around with the various settings because you can set the downshift less heavy than the upshift. I think here they're fairly equal. Maybe the upshift is slightly heavier than the downshift, but there's a lovely, like, see that there's no play in that. I'm pushing and pulling there. It's only when you do the actual engagement that something happens, and I love that precision. You don't get that precision even in, like, imagine sitting into a hypercar that has a manual sequential like this. So I know they have flappy paddles and all that, but imagine, you know, Audi makes some incredible, you know, throwback to the Quattro, and it has something like this in it. Or, you know, there's an amazing version of some iconic rally car. This would be right at home in it. I know that some people like a long handle and all that. The fact of the matter is, guys, I wouldn't be surprised if Heusinkveld come out with a long handle for this. I really wouldn't be surprised. That seems more, obviously, the longer the handle, the more leverage you have over it. But this is in its default setting, and it said 5.7 on the printout. It can go all the way up to 8, so you can easily get another 20%, 25% out of this. I think different length handles would definitely appeal to even more people. Yeah, I think they've nailed it yet again. That little the previous version of this, the small one, I kind of reluctantly reviewed that as well. Now, they didn't send it to me. I borrowed it off somebody, but they were like, the person that I borrowed it off, they were like, this thing is great. It's the best sequential shifter. I was like, yeah, but it's tiny. It's like, how can it be good? And it was good. Not as good as this. I would happily have this on my rig full time. This is a better sequential shift than many shifters that are much more expensive. It's not cheap. It's not a cheap device, but if you're in the market for a small, subtle shifter, this is probably the one. I think that longer handles would sell. Heusinkveld, get on it. I honestly think a longer handle would also sell. What you've done in here is extremely clever. Extremely clever. Limited space. Like, I'm shifting there. You guys can probably hear that, but it's not mad loud. It's great. I mean, the only way is to make it better. Manual, if you could adjust it just by hand here, the how heavy it is and stuff, that would be incredible. But I'm really nitpicking here. Love the little logo in the knob here as well. Really just super cool. Once again, I feel like Heusinkveld have absolutely aced it. Yeah. Not much more to say. Guys, I will have this on my rig for the next couple of weeks. I'll be using it during my rally streams and all that stuff. So join me Tuesday and Thursday at 9 PM UK and Irish time. Ask me any questions about any of the hardware that I'm reviewing that you'd like. And I'll catch you on the streams. I'm Lawrence. I'll chat to you later.